Number 74 from 80 Graded Studies for Saxophone Book 2. This is a Paul Harris piece and it has good duration, so it makes a really good high school level performance piece. It says cut time, minim equals 80, which is really motoring, so we're not going to go that fast today. Very vigorously with a swing. But with the swing, it probably means it's just playing up the dotted quavers, semiquavers, so it feels more like a shuffle. Bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. So we're going to play through this piece phrase at a time. Phrases are important because it helps you make sense of the music. They're the musical sentences. Sometimes there's a whole bunch of notes, you go, oh, it doesn't make any sense, and it's generally because you don't know where the phrases begin and end. Once those are discovered, you can go, oh, okay, right, cool, that's the conversation, this is how it's structured, and then you can identify places to practice in isolation. So let's go from the beginning and we'll see what happens. That's phrase number 1. See, I told you we're going to go phrase at a time. So you've noticed the feel, boo-da, boo-dum, boo-da, ba-dum, ba-dum. So that's probably what they mean by the swing. Da, ga-da, ga-da. We have articulation all over the show. And then there's a rest. Now remember, just because there's a rest doesn't mean this is a phrase ending or even a place where you do suck in air, right? You want to try and find out where the conversation is going. What is the music trying to say? So that's probably more a comma, and then we keep going. So we'll do phrase 1 again. Oof, few little fumbles there. This is a pretty tricky piece. So that's phrase 1. Now we have a lead into the second phrase, into bar 5. Whoa, okay, so technique aside, that is the next phrase. We have not a traditional 4-bar phrase. It does its 4 bars and then just gives you this little something extra. So let's just do that phrase one more time. Try again. See how it's just got that one extra bar there, but it also had the deceptive rest. Again, it's like another comma. Ba-ba-da-doo, ba-doo-ba-doo, wa-da-ba-doo-ba-doo-dum, rest, but it's comma, da-ga-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-ga-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-ba-da-dum. So again, those dotted quavers, semiquavers, they're not really a swing, da-da-da-da-da, more like a dum, ba-dum, 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 but more of a da-ga-da-ga-da-ga-da-ga-da, but not quite. Alright, so that is the end of the second phrase. Next phrase, lead into bar 10. Okay, this is actually piano, so it's kind of just kind of sneaking in a bit. Alright, what's going on here? Kind of like little, what do we say? Let's try. It's trying to be a little bit smoother. It's got all those tenutos. And then it has some echoes. So we've got these 4-days and then pianos and 4-days. In fact, that last do-ga-da-dum is kind of this last like shout at the end. So let's just do that phrase one more time. Quiet. And so you see the echo there? Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da, and then quiet. And then la 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 la. Alright, so this next phrase. I reckon that's the end of that phrase. There's probably some places that you can sneak a breath, but again, they're kind of like commas. The piece is so fast, it will probably just keep on driving from where I went from until 2. So let's just have a look at it again, maybe it's slower. So this is the chance to be smooth. Everything else is quite bouncy. It's got a few more tenutos, a few more slurs. Oof. Okay, that's some like cognitive overload there. I'm looking at those notes going, is it really a B flat? Okay, so that's the phrase. Then they have a kind of a mirror. It's doing the same idea. Digga digga dum. We got the B flats, yeah. Right, so the tune has come back from the beginning. What do we do with this? Okay, so we've got this lead in, this cantabile, we're leading into bar 22. Digga digga dum, ba da dum, da da do, holding it, and maybe kind of an echo. Ba dum. Now, what I like to do here is you can see this last bar, this bar 28, is kind of leading back into our tune. As a crescendo. You wouldn't want to breathe after that. Not that you couldn't, but maybe it is more effective if you're like ramping it up into the new phrase. So let's just go back to that phrase. Please sneak proof. Okay, now we're going to build the dynamic again. Okay, that's the end of that first phrase as we did earlier on. Okay, so it's just like the beginning and all its chaotic technical challenges. Alright, so then we got another piano phrase. So this is a little bit again, just like the beginning, where we had that loud, then the soft as an echo, and then the da-da-da-dum. However, this one doesn't do the da-da-da-dum. It actually just keeps diminuendoing out. So let's just do that phrase one more time. This is the lead into bar 40. So you want to feel like you've finished the phrase, because now, okay, we have the accelerando towards the end. So what have we got? Accelerando, poco a poco. This is your bar 45 or 44. So we got digga-da-dum, 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 ba-dum, digga-da-dum, digga-da-digga-da-da-da, digga-da-digga-da-da, digga-da-digga-da. If you can pull that off, awesome. I won't be doing that today. So let's start slowly. Oh, it's natural. Something like that. So again, let's just look at these for a moment. You gotta try. Okay, we're meant to be in 2, and ideally even at a slow speed, because I mean, come on. Do you want to know what minim equals 80 is? Ba-ba-da-dum, 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 ba-dum, da-ga-da-dum, da-ga-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's kind of a very unrelenting pace. Here's a pro tip. It says minim equals 80, but if you put it minim equals 160, it just helps a bit. Ba-ba-da-dum, ba-ba-da-bum, ba-ba-da-dum, ba-dum, da-ga-da-dum. Okay, so let's just wind back the pressure somewhat. So here's your last phrase again. So da-ga-da-dum, 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 ba-dum. At this point in the piece, you're probably getting a little bit wound up, so you can treat that 2 bars as a bit of a phrase in itself. Oh my god. Okay, so it's a nice little motif by itself, and it's piano, it's kind of doing the same thing. Now we keep on going, bar 46. Alright, so how to break this down a bit more? Let's take the very, very end. We've got that da-ga-da-ga-dum. If you go back another bar, we also had a da-ga-da-ga-da. Now, just to help with timing, you got to find out which notes are landing on beats. So we got this da-ga-da-ga quaver, okay, da-ga-da-da-ga, the G, that crutch, it's landing on that beat. Da-ga-da-da-ga, ba-ba, da-ga-da-ga-da. So that's helping with the timing there. Oh, I've been missing the staccato. Oh, let's try and get some more styling. Oh, and some slurs as well. Oh my gosh, I'm completely missing all the fancy stuff. Maybe I should have reviewed this before I tried hammering through this piece. Okay, so let's go back to 46. Okay, so notice that we've got this kind of lead-in feel. Ba-ba-da-dum, ba-ba-da-da-ba-da-dum. It's a whole bunch of things to fool you here. You got triplets that are starting on the beat, ba-ba-da-dum, and then another triplet that's off the beat, da-ga-da-da-ga-da-da. And then we've got a mixture of semiquavers. So you're changing gear all the time here. You got your triplets, you got your semiquavers, you got your quavers. Whew, okay, so there's a lot going on. So let's just go back a bit. Let's go to lead into bar 38. Let's try again. Oh, B flat. Okay, so you can see my technique is completely out the window. So it's just a matter of practicing going through those triplets. But you see, I'm still ultimately trying to play that entire phrase, getting through to what I've ticked in, because the ticks are a huge hint. And you put a tick in the music that identifies your phrase beginnings and endings. And then you end again. Wow, so there we go. That was me trying to smash through a piece and try and demonstrate what it's all about. I'll try and bookmark or chapter all the phrases in isolation, so in case you wanted to learn or know more about a particular phrase in the piece and play it back. But goodness gracious, this is why I didn't try and perform it from beginning to end, because let's be honest here, I completely butchered that. But hopefully it gives you an idea of what to do with each of these phrases, and if you got to do a performance in like a week's time, you got something to go on at least. Alright, so that is number 74 by Paul Harris in 80 Graded Studies for Saxophone, Book 2.